Hi everyone, this is Bethany Anderson and welcome back to another class from Anderson Language Center. And hopefully you watched last week's video. So let's just start with a quick review from last week. We started a new series about questions. And as I said last week, questions can be a little bit complicated in English, so I just want to start slowly, step by step, and little by little we're going to learn more and more about how to ask questions in English. So last week, you can always go back and watch the video if you didn't have a chance to watch it last week. You can find all of the video classes at andersonlanguage.com. And that last week's class we were talking about yes or no questions. So just to review, a yes or a no question is a question that has the answer either yes or no. For example, do you like ice cream? Is a yes or a no question. The answer is either yes, I like ice cream, or no, I don't like ice cream. Okay, yes or no. And last week we were talking about yes or no questions that start with do. Most yes or no questions use do. Okay, many questions begin with do, does, or did. So again, if you did not see last week's video, I recommend you go back and watch that one first and learn about questions with do. Now, I said last week that not all yes or no questions begin with the word do. There are some other words that are also used with yes or no questions, and today we're going to talk about some of those. So today we're talking about the exceptions, okay, the words, the other words that can come first in a yes or a no question. Okay, so the most common word besides do, the most common word that's going to come at the beginning of a yes or a no question is be. Okay, you probably know the verb be, and we know that that is am, is, and are in the present tense. So for example, I am, he is, she is, you are, we are, they are. Okay, am, is, are. And then in the past, was and were. Okay. So here are some examples. Anytime you would use be in the statement form. Okay, the statement means not a question, just the statement, stating a fact. Then you would also use be in the question. So some examples. Are you ready? Okay, that's a yes or no question, right? Are you ready? The answer is yes, I'm ready, or no, I'm not ready, yes or no. Okay, so are you ready? That's a yes or a no question, but it does not start with do. It starts with are. Okay, so again, this takes the same pattern as we learned last week with do, but you're going to use a different word at the beginning. Okay. Okay, be very careful with this because you don't want to use do and be together. That's a big no-no, and some people get a little bit confused with that. So you only want to use one of these words. You decide which one is the correct one and you use only one. Okay, so are you ready? Okay, here's another example. Is this your daughter? Is, okay, is a be verb. Okay, now think about the statement if you change it to just saying, oh, this is your daughter. This is your daughter. We use is, this is. So when you make it a question, then you start with is this your daughter? Okay, the first word is be. Okay, am is are. In the past, was she on time for school today? Okay, was. Again, just remember the first word is be. Am, is, are, was, were. One of these. Okay, so if we're talking about the most common yes or no questions, that's going to be do. Next comes be. Questions with be. Am, is, are, was, were. Okay, another common word is can. Can. Okay, so you ask a question, for example, can he lift that box? Oh, that box is very heavy. Can he lift it? So can comes first. Can he? Okay, so we're talking about do, be, now can. That's another word that can go at the beginning of yes or no questions. Can you help me? So you want to ask for help. Can you help me? Excuse me. Can you help me? So can first. Can you? Can your children swim? So asking if someone knows how to do something. Can you swim? Can they swim? Can you cook? Okay. Another word that we can use is will. Will. Probably the most famous question, yes or no question with will, is will you marry me? Okay, I think everyone knows that question. Will you marry me para pedir matrimonio, right? Will you marry me? And you've seen that written out. Sometimes people make a sign or something like that. Will you marry me? Okay, that's one example with will. Or you can ask a question about the future, something that is going to happen in the future with will, like I'm going to Jenny's birthday party. Will you be there? Okay, will you be there? Okay, so we've talked about do, be, can, and will. Okay. Those are the most common ones, but there are a few other words that we sometimes use when we want to be extra polite in asking a question. Okay, do you know what I mean when I say polite? Polite means educado. Okay, entonces para hacer preguntas más educados, educadas, we sometimes use these words. Could, may, should, would. Okay, so this is to ask a question in a polite way, in a nice way. For example, could you help me? Okay, it's really the same as saying can you help me, but could is just a little bit more polite, más educado. Okay, could you help me? And again, could goes at the beginning. May I take one? May I take one? You're asking, is it okay if I take one of these? Maybe you see something, a candy or something at the doctor's office. May I take one? It's the same as saying, can I take one? It's the same, but may I is just more polite, más educado. All right. Should I bring anything? So, for example, someone invites you to come to their house for dinner, and you can say, should I bring anything? Okay, should. Should is like debería. And would. Would you like something to drink? Okay, again, this is, you can also say, do you want something to drink? But it's just a little bit nicer, a little bit more polite to say, would you like something to drink? Okay, so I know this is a lot for this lesson. Okay, if you're feeling a little confused by all of these different examples, I recommend that you focus on can and be to start. Okay, si son muchas palabras estos ejemplos que les estoy dando en esta clase, puedes empezar con be y can, okay, porque son los más usados para este tipo de pregunta. Okay, entonces la mayoría de los casos puedes expresar con do, be, and can. Okay, y ya después cuando ya tienes experiencia usando estas tres palabras, ya puedes añadir las otras palabras que te he enseñado en esta clase. Ok, entonces para repasar, en la clase de la semana pasada hablamos de do. Ok, todos estos ejemplos que estoy dando en la clase anterior y en esta clase tienen que ver con yes, no questions. Okay, preguntas que tienen como respuesta o sí o no. Yes, no questions. Okay, entonces la palabra más usada para empezar este tipo de pregunta es do. Okay, de la semana pasada. Okay, la segunda sería be. Okay, el verbo be. Am, is, are, was, were. Okay, y después sigue can. can. Okay. Ya cuando tienes bien firme en tu mente estas tres palabras, puedes seguir practicando con will, can, could, would, should, may. Okay? So I will put all of these in the notes on Anderson Language, and you can look over all of these words. You can see all of the words that I was talking about. But again, focus mainly on do, be, can, and those are the most common ones that you will need most of the time. Okay, I hope that this was helpful, and we will continue next week talking about more about questions. And next week I will be live, okay, Wednesday at 8 o'clock. So I hope I'll see you there next week. Thanks for watching. Have a great week.